few minutes as always. How you guys doing today? How was everyone? Been a bit more action this week than previous weeks. Still a bit choppy, still a bit shit, but it's been better. Give a few more minutes here. All right, another minute or two. Share my screen here. Let me know if you guys can see it when it's up. Let me know if you guys got it there. Oh. You guys see my screen right now? All right, sweet. Okay, just give another 1 or 2 minutes here. People funnel in, then we run it. I've been enjoying doing these weekly streams with you guys. It's definitely taken me out of my own comfort zone as well. It's taught me a lot about the bots as I go through the process of building material to teach you guys. So I hope you guys are also learning from these. Turnout so far here. Taco, Talisman, Bets, AJ, Cheddar, Cloud Queen, Cypress, DJ, Don Quixo, Talent, and Kevin, Levi, Mellow, Mike, Panda, Rust, Sadashiv, ZA. Let's go. All right. Take a look at the charts here, and we'll do a little bit of a market overview from the past week, as we usually do. And then we have special guest Cheddar hopping on, and she's going to show us, how she looks at the bots and how she looks to take intraday plays as well, same way as Taco did last week. I really enjoyed having people up. Like I said, not only does it help the community and teach you guys a different perspective on how people use the bots, but it also teaches me. I'm just one here who is well, I got some echo on. I'm just gonna mute because we got the thing set up so people can talk. I'm just gonna mute phones. All right. So yeah, I mean, having people up has been great. It's nice to see other people's perspective, even outside of my own, and how they use the bots, because trading is a very individual, a very personal thing, right? Every single person is going to view the same chart differently for the most part. So I've enjoyed having people up, and we're going to continue to do that. But yeah, let's take a look here at what's happened this week. So previous weeks we've seen, a very aggressive downtrend, right? Like, we've kind of gone from 90,000 down into like the high 70s, which is pretty crazy. But at the same time, we're at like max peak fear and stuff, and you've got to kind of zoom out and realize that, like, the last time we really had these levels, we're sitting around like 40 or 50,000. So as bad as things do seem from sentiment on social media, Twitter, All of our spot bags are down. Everyone feels that pain, but at the same time, we're sitting at $80,000 on Bitcoin, right? So perspective is everything. Like, you have the strategic Bitcoin reserve being put in place, even if it isn't what everyone thought it was going to be in terms of like the government just actively buying Bitcoin, and it may turn into that eventually. But at the same time, you have the governments and you have the entire world, nation states and stuff talking about Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. Um, and again, we're sitting at $70,000, $80,000. So, perspective is everything. You really do have to zoom out because staying too zoomed into the charts can be a plague on the mind. You definitely do need to have more of a higher time frame bias on things as well. Short term, you may feel a lot of pain with spot bags, and again, we're all with you on that. But things have never been brighter for this industry overall, and so it's important to understand that. But anyways, from that downtrend, a lot of pain in there, but we're starting to kind of base out here, and we're starting to kind of range again. There's been some really clean trading this week. When you look at the Monday range, which is one of the bots that we offer, is Monday range sweeps. So if we take a look here, just let me turn on. Make sure. Can you guys hear me as well? Just to make sure I'm not just talking to myself. All right, sweet. Okay, so we had some really clean trading this week, to be honest, right? So kind of hard on the downtrend with all of the news-driven stuff, and there's been a lot of news stuff as well in here in this PA. But at the same time, there's been a lot of really clean plays. One of those plays was actually the sweep of Monday low, and that was for Bitcoin and Ethereum. We had the same setup, and this is one of the setups that I teach that you can find in the Gold Alpha. You can find on our YouTube and stuff, and it's one of the highest hit rate trades that is available to you inside of the Discord. Is when we make a 30-minute divergence either into a support or into a Monday range sweep on Bitcoin and Ethereum, typically you're going to get that across, I don't even know, like 100 plus alts will do the exact same thing, right? So this PA here is what I'm talking about, where we made a 30-minute div into the sweep of Monday low, reclaimed, and it gave like a nice move up. You have the exact same thing on Ethereum here. And it's also into supports as well by our support resistance bot, right? So, you had the sweep here, close back above, you get 30-minute divergence in super oversold territory. So just beautiful plays for anyone who executed on that. And that gave you plays that, you could still be riding right now from the entire week, all the way up into Monday range high sweep, to be honest. So it's been nice actually kind of basing out, getting a bit of a range going here. And the Monday range play, for those who have followed it, has been phenomenal. And, could have taken that play and rode that all the way up to here where, we got a Monday high sweep, beautiful rejection. And just like from here to here, like it's a ridiculous, it's about $7,000 move on Bitcoin, right? Like that's an 8.5% move. Like, that is huge if you literally just, had the patience and you were only looking to play majors. Even Sol did the same thing. You could have strictly executed on just this and kind of stayed out of the market for the most part and caught just like your entire week's gain on that move, right? Like that was just beautiful. Come up here, we get the sweep of Monday's high, you get the alert. This also gave a 4% move down. And we came back up and we rejected again, right? And again, it's into a resistance from our support resistance bot. So like you have multiple scalps that you could have played this week just on majors alone. And I suggest too, for people that are somewhat new to trading or uncertain how to trade these conditions, just focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum and like Sol. I know people who strictly trade these assets and nothing else and make more money than majority of people who trade everything. You really only need Bitcoin and Ethereum, and if you really lock in on those charts, like you can make a ridiculous amount of money. So I highly suggest anyone who isn't certain how to trade or new to trading to stick to the top three. That would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Sol for me. But yeah, you got another up rinse up here, sweep and rejection, and that's probably a 5% move, whatever. Come in, you sweep this low, really clean PA this week, which has been nice. Sweep this low and you get this rally up, which we have now. And now what's happening, right? You have flip happening, right? So you set the Monday range, come down here, we put in what is and could be the low for the week, it is anyways. You come up, sweep Monday's high first time, nice scalp, immediate rejection too. Like that's a deep rejection. Come up here, fails to hold it again, rejection, come up here, and now what's happening, right? We've swept out these highs and we're looking to hold this. So, from here, this is the area where you could get long with invalidation below the Monday range, right? Targeting, move up here, take out this little cluster of highs. And from there, we just play level to level. But it's been nice. There's been much cleaner PA than the past weeks. Ethereum, as always, hasn't put in as big of moves and has struggled against what Bitcoin's been doing. We haven't even come up and tested the highs here. The number of highs built up that we're still waiting to sweep. As well as, we have the resistance here. So ETH has been a little trickier to trade for sure. And that's kind of just been the same running narrative for a while now. ETH's just it's been dog shit to trade, to be honest. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. That time will turn eventually, but it's not now. So ETH's been in a bit of a tighter range, but again, right, this range, if you're looking to scalp it, is, it's a massive range weekly, right? So that's like one move down, one move up, one move down, one move up. Like it's like 40% moves just in between here, which is actually ridiculous when you think about it. So scalping conditions have been great and kind of ranging out a bit, which has been nice. So next week will be interesting to see what happens because stocks kind of seem like they are slowly finding a bottom, similar to potentially crypto as well, right? And so that's like a lower time frame view. But when you look at things, you zoom out, I was talking about, there's been a lot of pain in these charts, right? But we swept here. We swept the low when we also came and put in like the Monday range and then swept again. So like this was a really nice bottom that formed out. And you also had the 4-hour divergence here that played into that too, right? So you have also higher time frame triggers and confluences in taking that Monday low trade. And things don't look too bad here the way we're structuring out. We've started to break some structure on the 4-hour, especially if we can hold this flip here and move up. We're actually looking not bad for the time being with stocks slowly starting to bottom out. But again, it's a very news-driven market right now. Things are tough. One headline can send this the other way. But play it level to level. It's the best that we can do. And again, for those that are new, these levels are from one of our bots inside the Discord. I'll show you guys that now. This is our support and resistance bot. And you can pull these from here. You literally just click daily or 4-hour. We have it on Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. Click it. It'll immediately generate you a chart with the levels. And these aren't random levels. They're pulled from 4 years or 3 years worth of data. So they're concrete, very solid levels for you to play. And you just throw those on your chart. And so every time you see Woodsbot post about this, or you see these streams, like that's where these levels are from. These are not manual. These are from our bots. And that's the same with the 30-minute divergence and Monday range sweeps that you've seen. These are also bots from us as well. So I know there's a lot of new members in here, people from Twitter and stuff from the giveaway and everything. So I just want to give a little rundown on that. Let me know in the chat right now if you guys have any questions in terms of the bots, in terms of like the weekly outlook, just anything, any general questions, just hit me up right now. Otherwise, we will get Cheddar up here to show us exactly what she's got going on with the bots and how she views them. Yes. No questions? All right, cool. All right, Cheddar. So you can hop on now. Just give a little introduction and we can kind of go from there, from how you view the bots on a day-to-day basis and how you trade them. And Cheddar has been someone who's been riding with Woodsbot for a very long time. She's been a huge supporter and one of the people that I've been the most impressed with inside of the community in terms of using the bots. She trades in a very unique way, and I've learned a lot from how she views the bots as well. And so I'm excited to have her come up and kind of give us a rundown. Just gonna stop sharing my screen here, and she can hop on. Come on up,
Okay.
Cheddar.
Hi. Thank you for such a lovely introduction.
No problem.
So I guess I've been trading with Woodsbot for probably a year now, a long time, anyways, and it's really transformed my trading. And hopefully, I can share some stuff that will help other people transform their trading.
I love it. I love it. I think you can.
Okay. Um, I think the biggest thing for me with Woodsbot, anyways, is the amount of time it saves. Look at everybody in the chat. Hi, everybody. Um, it just the time it saves. I used to spend a lot of time charting and setting alerts and waiting for things to happen, and that's just not my personality style. So, what the biggest thing Woodsbot does for me is it just allows me to every day come in and just find a trade. I it's eliminated a lot of that other work and really allowed me to just focus in on the actual execution, which has been a game changer for me. So,
Yeah, I love that. That's definitely one of
yeah,
the things that is like the main selling point that even myself as a trader, like being able to just save time. Even if you work a full-time job or you have kids or you have a family and you have things outside of trading, maybe it's not your full-time career. Just being able to come on and scan through the alerts at any point in time, like you're talking about, is it's insanely useful.
yeah, definitely. It's like I said, it's changed everything for me. Here, let me see if I can share my screen, if I can figure that out.
Yep, for sure. Just in the bottom left, there'll be a thing that says share screen. And then when that comes up, you'll see, just let me know when that comes up and I'll show you
Okay,
how.
there it is.
Yeah, so it says applications or there's screens next to it.
Okay, I'll
And
just do
go,
screens because that way I can flip
yeah,
between the Discord and my charts.
exactly.
Okay, go live. Let me know if that worked.
Yep. Yeah, you're good. See
Okay,
it.
all right. So a lot of times when I come on, one of the first things I do is I will just go to, where is it? The RSI heat maps. And I will just click every button there is. And it just sort of helps me orient where I am in the market at the moment. Like I've just woken up. I not I'm honestly, I don't think I'm the best with charts either, but this just sort of lets me see if am I looking for longs, am I looking for shorts? You know, I like to long, so I'm always interested when I see there's a bunch of oversold still on the daily heat map. I might go in and take a closer look at those. Uh, thank you, Groot. Um, and then I'm also really interested in, oh, this is not working. Huh. Second, I don't seem to be able to scroll anymore. My PC's acting up. Can you still hear me at least?
Yep. Yeah, we got you.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm not really sure what's going on there. Can you see my chart? That at
Yep.
least working. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll just verbally talk about what I look at in the Discord because it's not letting me. Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Sometimes it can just lag a bit during
Yeah,
stream.
that was lag. Okay, so then my other thing that I'm really interested to look at is volume. Anybody that's been in the Discord with me for any length of time knows I talk about volume all the time. I think it's one of the most important things you can study. Um, so yeah, I want to see where the volume is. There's always BTC, ETH, XRP solid top, but the rest of it shifts around day to day and hour to hour and 15 minute to 15 minute. I also like to know where there is no volume because I don't want to. I'm not looking to build a position and swing trade. I'm looking to get into something today and be out of it before I go to bed. So usually volume is where you're going to find a move. So those are my two really big focuses. I also go up to the gainers and losers. I like to see the top gainers, but I'm mostly interested in the top losers because it seems to me when AI coins especially show up on this list, within a day or two, you get a really nice recovery. So that's been kind of a special focus of mine. You'll see that in the trades I did last night.
That's interesting. I've actually found the same thing, like the AI agents, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like Arc Alchemy or Alchemist. Actually, you asked me about that yesterday, and I ended up taking a trade on it.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that too. Like Zero Bro, like AI 16Z, and all of those, when they're all consistently in, the top losers or even the top gainers, it seems like a day or two later, they're on the complete opposite side of that for like big, 15, 20% moves each way.
Exactly. So I've been kind of, whenever I see them on that list, I go and pay special attention to them.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So those are my main things. And then from there, when I'm looking at something, like if I see something has popped up on the volume and it's, not been there, I'll just come up here and search, like ARC, for example. You look and it's like, oh, look, it's oversold on the 15-minute. There's a 30-minute RSI alert on it yesterday at 10 p.m. And I remember this because I think I actually I I got out of this trade really early. But the fact is I was in the trade, I made a nice little 3R on it, and I went to bed. And it was just using the search feature and the volume and the top gainers, losers. So that's my main areas. I spam the volume button all night. I try with the funding rates, but I haven't nailed that one down yet. But those are my favorites. Volume for sure.
So once you find the coins that you're interested in playing through the volume and stuff, do you then look for other confluences on those?
Yeah, I'll usually get something from the volume and then I'll search, get another confluence, and then I go to the chart and just sort of do some basic TA. Nothing fancy, just some simple supply and demand, support resistance. Like here's an example from yesterday. This Alchemist we were talking about, one of the AI coins. So it's up here on my highest volume on 1 hour. It's oversold the 1 hour, the 30-minute, the 50-minute, and I got this just with a simple search bar. It had swept something over here. Yeah, it swept this little 4-hour candle over here, this wick. And so with all of that, I just waited for it to reclaim that support and just boom. And that's just by using the tools in Woodbot. I missed, I think, another 7% on this, but I don't care. It's not my circus, not my monkeys when I get out.
Yeah, you caught a nice move on that regardless anyways.
Yeah. And, I think you had asked about it in the Discord, and then we were talking, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, I should have said something, but I'm so ADHD, I forget what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So, and I'm also very conscious that for anybody out there wondering, I maybe only have a 50% win rate average. So I don't like to call things out in the Discord because I know that I'm just as likely to lose that. And it's just because I have really good risk management. I only go for trades that are 3R or more or that are worth it. And I wait. I take, probably more trades than most people do in a day. Not as many as group by any means.
I don't think anyone does.
But, I'm, usually like 10 trades a day is normal, and that's just during the Asian session because that's my favorite time of day to trade.
Yeah, I
So
love it. Taco's got some questions here. He
okay,
said,
pop over.
yeah, just in the chat there, some volume questions. think you can just pull
Figure
that
this out.
over.
I'm probably just having a moment. I'll figure it out. There we go. Say volume seems more likely to pump because more interest and eyeballs on it. That's a lot of it. What you want is the levels you're looking at, the supply, demand, support, resistance, the things you're drawing the chart. The more people that there are looking at those levels and being willing to participate gives you a better chance of your trade working out. And yeah, volume can absolutely cascade to the downside. It can start hitting liquidations, and then it just starts a roller coaster. And usually, if you see a strong trend in one direction, you want to see volume increasing. That kind of gives you an idea that that is a sort of a true trend. If you're seeing volume rising and rising really quickly and the volume's just dropping, that's, not a really strong trend. You want to get your money and get out. So, yeah, volume's the turbo booster. Volume's the fuel. It's what gets the coin moving, and you get those sharp movements, and then that attracts more participants, and then their money goes in, and you get that sort of momentum. But yeah, volume is essentially, it's the rocket fuel.
I have a question too on that as well. Do you ever track an asset's volume as well and like base your exit off of that? Because I know you focus on volume a lot. So do you ever ride a trend with like really good volume until kind of the volume dies off, or do you kind of just go for levels?
Volume a lot of
Yeah.
the time. Like right now, my trade it's essentially one trade I do over and over, and it's really just a VWAP, mean reversion. But if we get to that point and I see that the volume is strong, I, will discretionary, maybe keep that trade open a little longer. Or if I see all of a sudden, my vector candles, if I start seeing that the green candles are going away and I've got blue and maybe just, regular gray, I might want to get out because the momentum's falling and I can just move on to another trade. I've got Woodsbot.
Yeah. I love it.
So, yeah. Let's see, the indicator at the bottom of my chart. That, oh, that's just volume. It's, yeah. Anyways, okay. So does anybody, while we're on volume, did anybody have any other questions about that? In the meantime, you can just type it in and I'll just go to another chart then. So here's one that's an example of a trade where I got out way too early, but I wanted to go to bed. But there's another good trade on here I'm going to show you. So, and again, it's the AI narrative. So here again, we have the top losers and the highest volume. And what happened here is I wanted to go to sleep, and my trade is normally mean reversion. I will trade back to the previous day's VWAP, and I didn't think I was going to get there. So I just made the decision to take my money and close early. But there's another trade over here that is the same trade. And just to show you, I just take one trade over and over and over. Same thing. I've got highest volume, top losers. I'm oversold. I've got this support here, and then I just trade it back to the previous day's VWAP, and I'm out. And that's essentially all I'm doing. So I would just say for anybody that is new and starting out, you only have to find one or two trades. Focus. Don't think you have to learn absolutely everything under the sun and confuse yourself. It can be that simple that you just have one or two things that you're really good at.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's a super important point. as anyone who's beginning, it can seem so overwhelming. Everyone has different indicators and sometimes four or five or three, whatever on there. Everyone trades differently. And I always remember too, when I first really got into trading, I joined Wealth Group, and every trader in there is very successful, but also has very different styles. And so I'm trying to like learn each individual style. And you kind of soon realize that, it's kind of being like, it's more important to just focus. Like you said, all you need is one strategy that you can just consistently repeat over and over and over, because at the same time that you're doing that, you're getting the same data feedback on the same setup over and over, so you can tweak that with like reliable results. You know what I mean? You have, say, 100 trades that you've taken with the exact same setup, exact same confluences for the trade and whatever, and you can reliably say, okay, 65 times I've won on that trade, I have a 65% win rate, right? And you can tweak that to maybe be 70 or 75. But the more nuances and different indicators and things you look at that you throw in, it's going to skew that entire process and that data, and you kind of have to recalibrate everything. So focusing on one specific strategy until you have that mastered is absolutely a cheat code for new traders to focus on.
Yeah, and the thing about trading is a lot of it works. It's just you have to apply it and just be consistent with it. If you vibe with trend lines, you can make that work. If you vibe with EMAs, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with using these things. You just have to be consistent with it. And like you said, that's how you get that data and just improve and keep iterating on that and improving that 1% every day that we all aim for.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that, yeah, that's the other thing, right? It's like all you need is 1% portfolio growth per day. And you can do that with very strict risk management. And obviously, you're not going to hit it every single day. But if you can average out anywhere from 1% per day, the compounding effects of that are insane. We're not in this industry and this game to get rich overnight. That's not what it's about. And we try to preach that, and it comes down to discipline, patience, and risk management. And like 1% per day compounded over 2, 3 months is absolutely insane. Like they say that compounding is like the eighth wonder of the world, and it really is when you start to actually look at it and understand it. It's mind blowing, really.
Oh, definitely. I wish I had known about it when I was younger, but
Yeah,
better late than never.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. Hey, let's see. I'm just gonna see if I got another more trades here. Let's see. There's this one here where I didn't get the whole 100% move, but I did manage to catch a nice little 15%
Crazy move on that.
here. 13%, pardon me. And I like this one because this is, where is it? This is my thank you Woods trade. This is the 5-minute
Video.
demand anticipation.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
beautiful.
don't know what that is, please go to Woods' YouTube channel and watch the videos, because this is just such a nice little trick for catching moves. So we had this, it was on the highest, I think we all probably saw this, highest volume, top gainers, low funding, but it's already pumped 146%. So, but we had
Jesus.
this little, yeah, I wish I'd been on, realistically, I would have caught like 15% of that and closed it and then kicked myself the rest of the day. But I was happy to catch this little move off this little demand anticipation here. Just little trade back up to VWAP. I see for the vector candles, they're coming in right here. So I can see there's activity, perhaps some position building going on, and then a little accumulation, a little sweep, and then back to VWAP. All of that on the 5-minute chart. But price is fractal. All the patterns you play on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, they're down here on the 5-minute waiting for you. They're just a little messier. So I like the ability to be wrong fast and move on.
Yeah, I like that. In terms of your TPing strategy, because I know that you play, 3R plus, do you partial TP at all, or do you just play it all the way up to there?
No, I do not take partials. That's
Nice.
one of the ways I'm different from most of the traders in the group is I'm one and done. I don't DCA in and I don't DCA out.
Yeah.
So those are, it is a real 5 to 1 when I hit those, which
Yeah.
is, part of just my risk management. I found that when I was taking partials, my win rate is not high enough, I guess, to withstand that.
Yeah.
And it's just simpler for me to manage because I used to trade a lot more. Um, and I've really kind of narrowed it down to, maybe 8 to 10 trades a day, which helps me manage them, which has allowed me to increase the profits on those ones because I can pay attention to them and I've been able to narrow in on this. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And in terms of like, do you use divergences? Like, I know you use overbought and oversold. Do you ever like, obviously, if there is a divergence, it's added confluence, but do you ever
Mhm.
like focus on that as well?
I look for them.
Yeah.
Let me see, I don't even know which one it is. Also I have Pocky's indicator,
Yeah.
um, which maybe that was the indicator that was even being asked about. Yeah, this is Pocky's indicator. So I do use this just as like a visual, and then I do my own as well. If I seem like here's, for example, because it doesn't, I guess, fit with the parameters of Pocky's indicator, but to me, that's a valid divergence. I've got a lower low, I've got a higher low over here. So I
Yeah.
treated that as a divergence, and that was one of my confluences to get into this little trade that I got into, just a little scalp. Well, realistically, I look at that and I'm just like, "Huh, that's kind of embarrassing." But the truth is you don't always get out at the top. You don't always get in at the
100%. Yeah.
bottom. If you can just get a chunk of that move and it's got a nice RR, you're a winner. Be
Yeah,
happy
and I
with
think
it.
that's important. I think that's also important for new people is that like, you see this on Cheddar's chart, you're like, okay, well, it could have been like 3 or 4 times as much, but it's like it's not even the point, right? It's like it's just about catching a part or some meat of the move. Like you're never gonna catch the tops and bottoms, and there's specific strategies to focus on that, but they're a lot harder than just catching, reversals and part of the reversal or some meat of the 20 or 15% move. Even if you catch like for example, Cheddar's stops are quite small, so that her RR is much better, right? So if she catches a 4 or 5% move on like a 1.5% stop, you're making really good profits on that, and like that's all you need.
Definitely, and focusing on Rs made such a big change for me too. Taking the dollar out of it and not even really even looking at the percentage, just looking at the Rs makes
Yeah,
it so much easier to judge, is this trade worth my time or not? Because if I'm gonna risk my money on a trade, it's gotta be worth it. I've got to see at least that 3R because like I said, I don't have a 60, 70% win. Like on a good day I do, but not every day is a good day.
yeah,
So, I just focus on the R's and I'm just trying to stack R's.
yeah. I love that. I guess too, like in terms of the past, I'd say 2 3 weeks especially has been extremely tough with the market and everything. And so how have you found that personally with your trading strategy? Like are you taking less trades, you're being more calculated with them, or are you with your strategy actually finding more because of the potential reversals and things like that? Like how's it been for you?
It's actually not been bad, mind you. I have been away for the first half of this week.
Yeah.
So last night really was the first time I sat down and traded since maybe last Friday? And Friday
Yeah.
was a really good day for me too. But I've also had days where I take 4 losses and that's it, I'm done.
Yep.
Um, but it's for the most part because I do have just that little strategy of the pivot mean reversion. I can find them throughout the day. They're always going to happen as long as there's volatility and volume. The price
Yeah,
is going to move.
absolutely.
And if I can get in at those extremes, like you said, and use those really tight stop losses, I can find nice moves. Um, especially with the Asian session, one of my favorite things about the Asian session is when that daily candle resets. What happens to the VWAP? It just gets torn down, just pulled right down there. And then I just look for these nice little gaps. Like this one didn't work out yet, but I think this one did. And you just get that the price is going to move back to there and just having the confidence in knowing that I can just keep doing that over and over and over. I don't even remember what I was talking about now. I just
No,
got
that's
so
great though.
enamored with my trade.
Back on like the whole thing of just having one strategy, right? It's like our tools and bots are literally designed for from beginners to advanced traders. And if you have your one strategy, like for instance, I trade a specific strategy, and using these bots, it cuts down the amount of time that I have to look specifically through my charts, right? Like I can literally use a number of things like the OBOS 30 minutes, um, or the divergence bot, things like that, to like immediately just basically come on at any point and with my specific trading strategy, which is totally different than Cheddar's, find trades just like that. Same as her. She can hop on at any point, 24/7, any day, doesn't matter. Click a few buttons on a few bots, and with her specific strategy, she can instantly find potential opportunities in the market. And that works across whatever strategy you trade. Like we have the bots to literally cover all aspects of this market, and we are continuing to put more and more out. And we actually just put out like the start of this month. I guess that's another question. Have the new bots we put out at the start of this month, have you used those at all since then? Like, have you found additional confluence with those or anything? I think it was like OBOS daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. And then we have all of the divergence ones from 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily as well.
Oh, I love the new bots.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like you said, having that 1 hour and that half an hour especially, it
Yeah.
just lets you get that confluence, and if you see it oversold on every single one of those time frames, I'm gonna start looking for an entry.
Yeah.
It might not be right away because there is momentum, the market is huge, it doesn't turn on a dime, but I'm definitely interested, and I'm gonna start drawing some levels, maybe zoom out, see what I can see, and definitely look for an entry. Oh, here.
Yeah.
Druge is asking if he hipped me to the Asian session. Actually, I used to trade in the evenings because I worked full time. And so that is why I'm on the Asian session. But Drew did hit me to paying a little more attention to the 4 hour candles, which I do appreciate. I have been making note of maybe I want to get out of a trade at quarter two instead of waiting until quarter after. And not, I don't enter trades right before a 4 hour candle anymore. And so that is thanks to Groot.
I love that. Cool
Yeah.
seeing the community kind of work together and bounce ideas off each other like this.
Oh, absolutely. And that's another amazing thing about Woodsbot I didn't even mention is the community here. Everybody's just so welcoming and so helpful. And I mean, I've been in a few discords and there's a lot of toxic areas out there. And here I've just not seen any of that. Everybody's so supportive to newcomers, people that are new to trading. Everybody's so helpful and so friendly here. And that's another really special thing about the Discord.
Yeah,
And
I
you
love
guys
that.
should
We
be
definitely
really
try to foster
proud of
that.
what you built and fostered here.
Yeah,
All of
appreciate
it.
that.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, I
I
kind of
think
went on at length there about my trades. I go off about them. As you notice, I like to talk about trading. So thank you for the opportunity to ramble about it.
yeah, absolutely. No, there's a ton of alpha from what you're saying. I think people are learning a lot, myself included. The Sada Shiv 6 has a question in there just about groups as well.
Oh, if I get stopped out on my first trade of the day, do you look for the next one? Where would you stop? Yes, I absolutely look for my next one. Um, where do I stop? I would stop after 4. I used to stop after 3, but 4 is my sweet spot. That's where I'm done for the day. But I'm also probably after the second stop, I'm not risking a full R anymore. I'm sizing down. Just because, if I've already lost a little bit, that affects my risk to reward. Um, I'm not looking to revenge trade my way down 5% all of a sudden. So I will keep going after that first trade, but I will also start sizing down until I'm, feeling the groove again. I think all of your psychology and troubles can be solved by sizing down if you're struggling. Size down $10, risk a dollar, risk 50 cents. Just completely detach from the money aspect of it and just try and win. And I feel
Yeah,
like that solves so many problems.
I think that's a really good point, and it's one that is so counterintuitive psychologically, right? Because when we take a loss, we want to remedy that, and we want to be at the dollar amount that we were at prior to that loss. Learning to trade is also learning to fail and learning to lose because it's a part of it. It's inevitable, and some days, like Cheddar's saying, you're going to take 4 losses in a row, and you kind of have to have rules in place for yourself to say, okay, like, when this happens, my emotions start to kick in. I start to revenge trade. I start to risk even more to try to fill that gap. And you really have to, like, trading is a very personal journey and you have to understand your own emotions and your own triggers and stuff. So, her rule of stopping after 4 obviously comes from experience of her losing 4 multiple times. And what happens after that, right? You probably try to revenge trade. You're down 4 trades. Like, that doesn't feel good, even though it's part of the game. So, like, understanding when to, like, stop yourself and have your own rules in place is so very important because it's so easy when you don't have rules for yourself that you strictly follow to, it's really easy to blow up accounts in crypto. It's really easy to let emotions get the best of you. And even with rules, it still happens. Like, we're all human. I've been trading for 2.5 years now and I have my own set of rules, but, like, I break them all the time as well, right? Like, it's just part of the game. It's part of being human. It's part of the learning process. But implementing those rules for yourself over time and with experience is very, very important because having guardrails for specific situations, whether that's euphoria or, you know, revenge trading, is super important in order to keep you, like, in check in this game.
Absolutely. Could not agree more.
All right, guys. Does anyone else have any questions for Cheddar? Now's the time to ask. Anything at all, trading, psychology, doesn't matter. It's been some good questions today, and we appreciate you guys asking them.
I know it was good. Thanks for having me on. I hope I helped somebody out there with trading and the bots and just anybody that's not in gold already. I would encourage you to work towards that because the tools in there are just going to save you so much time. And I talk more about 1% a day. Okay, well, the idea being that you can just compound a small amount, and if you can just grow your account and yourself as well, 1% a day, then those gains compound and you start growing faster and faster and faster. And if you can compound 1% a day and up to a certain point, and then that kind of money's just hard to move. You would have to change your entire style of trading. But, that 1% a day, and then take a chunk out, pay yourself. And the next month start, and you can try and go again 1% a day. Or you can do, I think Native is doing a challenge for 100 trades at 1%, showing just the sheer power of it. And I think it might even be his pinned tweet. So if you go and look at that, he describes it much better than I do. Yeah, so that's the 1% a day. You just compound it. Yeah, also don't change your rules in mid-swing. Groot is right. ZA. You're very welcome. So yes, that's my answer about 1% a day. You just want to strive for 1% a day. It's an achievable amount. Yeah, if you're feeling yourself a little too much, that tends to be when you get smacked right in the face. That's what the market's it's designed to incite emotion in you, and greed is one of them.
Yeah. So what Native just shared in there too for you guys
There
is
it is.
you can see what happens when you start with a portfolio of just $1,000 and you compound at 1% per day over the entire year, right? Your $1,000 will turn into 37.7K. And 1% per day when you become a trader who is proficient at this and who is consistent and you have discipline and patience, 1% per day is definitely achievable. And you're not going to make that every day, but when you are consistent, some days you'll make 3 or 4%, some days you'll have -2, -1, but like spread out over a period of time, if you can average that 1% per day, you know, with that 1%, you don't have to risk much. Your risk management can be very tight. You can risk 1% of your portfolio per trade and make that, right? And, you don't have to be risking 5%, and you shouldn't be risking 5%, right? Like, unless you're very experienced and your A plus setups regardless of market environment, like you shouldn't be risking more than 1 to 2% max of your portfolio. If you are starting out and you are new, or you're even starting out with the bots and you don't know how to use them yet, don't risk more than 1 to 2%, because the money is not the goal at the end of the day. The goal is to perfect a strategy. The goal is to build data. The goal is to start understanding how you're going to trade with the bots, for instance, right? And the money comes later, but the process comes first. And it's important to focus on that, because if you lose all your money in pursuit of the process, then you're screwed, right? Like, there's no point in that. So always focus on the process. And like Cheddar made a really good point earlier, where you have to detach yourself from the money aspect. If you can actually detach yourself from the money aspect, you can perform at such a higher level that the money will just follow. But like, when you're focused on the money aspect and you're watching the P&L on your exchange over the actual charts on TradingView, and you're making decisions based off your emotions of highs and lows, you're not going to perform as you should. You're not going to follow a strategy as you should. So being able to trade with a portfolio and a risk profile that allows you to detach yourself emotionally from trades is and should be the goal, because ultimately it seems counterintuitive that money will follow after that, as opposed to focusing on money. That's exactly what happens, and any experienced trader can attune to exactly that.
Yeah, it was definitely an essential part of my journey, was to, and I still do it. If I'm not having a good day, or maybe just not as focused, I still want to trade, because, I want to trade,
Yeah,
but I maybe don't want to risk as much, because I'm just not as confident, and that's where you just protect yourself. And
yeah,
risk management, and I see Native saying about 1%, and he's right. I mean, once you learn about these bots, there's 1% everywhere to be found. If we're talking about the 1%, you're not going to go all in to try and get that 1%.
yeah,
That's just
100%.
not wise. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and Groot, he says, I'm not exactly a break-even trader. I am somewhat profitable. I just my win rate is break even, but because I do a minimum 3 to 1, I'm still profitable. And that's risk management, which that definitely took me a huge, so long to learn. I thought I knew risk management until I realized in a horrible crushing manner that I didn't really understand it as well as I did. So that was something that, now that I use the smaller stops and I understand that I should be adjusting my position size depending on where my stop is. I mean, that was another thing, start with your stop. Where's my stop going to be? And then my position size is based on that and nothing else.
Yeah, love that. It's another great trader that I learned from inside a wealth group always, well, a lot of traders say that it's like when you enter a trade, you need to be focused on the amount of money you could lose, not the amount of money that you could win from the trade, because you need to manage your risks and you need to understand when you enter a trade that you're okay with losing this amount of money, and whatever money you make on the trade is secondary, but like you have to be focused on what can I lose from this trade, because that's going to allow you to enter the trade with proper risk management. And if you start focusing on how much can I make from the trade, you're going to ignore the fact of how much you can lose, and oftentimes you're going to end up losing more than you anticipated because you're focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's where having a great community like this to learn these things, because, it's there's not a checklist out there. Well, there is, I mean, risk management, but nobody really goes into depth on what risk management is. So having a community like this to come in and ask questions, and it just takes years off your journey, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that too. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am in trading in 2.5 years if I didn't join communities like I did, like we have here. I think it's such an invaluable thing to be able to bounce ideas off each other, have streams like this where you just talk about trading. Like trading is a very, very psychologically and emotionally difficult game, especially if you're in crypto. Crypto is a whole nother beast, and it can be tough. And if you're doing this by yourself, like that is a struggle. That it takes a lot out of you. And so being able to talk about things like losses or risk management, or how, even Groot, how he says, like, I made 1 mil trade in my first year, 2018, and I had 50K to my
Wow.
name in 2022. It's like these are huge lessons that, like, if you are in a community like this and you can bounce off each other, like you can learn from the people who have already made those. And oftentimes you do have to make them yourself for them to really hone in. And that's just part of the nature of the game. But you can really like learn from people who are, in the spot that you want to be, who are profitable traders, who have been through the insane drawdowns that you have. And like, we have the recovery section as well in this Discord for those that don't know. And, it's like on days that are just, or weeks like we've had where things are just really tough, it's like that's a place to open up and feel safe and talk about the emotions of trading, right? Like it's not an easy game for anyone. Like Cheddar's been through her phases where she's felt like it's not going to work. What am I doing? I've lost so much money. This is just too hard. We all have. It's just that it comes with it, and so like you're never alone in that. And that's definitely what we try to foster in this community. Is everyone can win in this game. There isn't like a first place, second place, third place. It's like we want every single one of you guys in here to succeed, and we all can. And so we try to provide the tools, the bots in the community in order to do that. And I love each and every one of you guys inside this community. You guys are all positive. You're all contributing. I love seeing you guys grow in trading and with the bots as well, and seeing members interact and network and stuff. And so um, yeah, I just want to say a thank you to the entire community as well, because it's special what we have here, and we're going to continue to foster that.
Oh, I would definitely agree that Woodspot's a special place, and it's got great bots. And a special thank you to Crypto Native just for doing all of this. I don't know when you sleep, but thanks for the magic.
Yeah,
Much
absolutely.
appreciated.
Yeah, that is an important special thank you. For those that don't know, Crypto Native is the dev who has created all of these bots. He's created the AI bot. He's created everything, all the tools that you guys see here. So without him, this isn't possible. So always a big thank you to what Native does.
Definitely.
All right,
Plugs in
guys.
resources.
Yeah,
All
yeah. So last chance here. If anyone has any questions, we've been on for a good hour now. Cheddar shared a ton of alpha. So if anyone has any last questions, trading, her strategy, the bots, psychology, the market in general, just shoot them now and we can answer them. If not, we're going to wrap this one up.
right.
Yeah, Native definitely doesn't sleep.
Thank you, Grudy. Go back to VIP. It moves so fast. Can't read that fast. Oh, well, thank you for having me on, and I hope that I managed to share something. And yeah,
Yeah, I think it's been a great
thank
stream, and you definitely
you
have
for having me.
shared a lot of alpha. So we appreciate you coming up. Appreciate you sharing, how you view the bots and just your general trading experience and knowledge. And we're going to continue to bring people up just like this because I think these streams have been extremely beneficial for everyone, myself included. So thank you again, Cheddar.
Okay, thank you for having me, and I will sign off now. And I hope everybody has a fabulous day. And if there's any questions later or anything, you know where I am. I'm in chat. Just tag me. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
that
you.
sounds good. Thanks again, Cheddar. I'll see you guys all later. Have a good day.
Okay, bye.